I just finished rolling this driveway, and my last pull, and I think my forward and reverse fork inside my transmission has come apart. So we're gonna have to come back with the truck and tow it out of here, and guess it's gonna have a visit in the shop pretty soon. Okay, it's in. The little access covers on the other side. Linkage goes in on this side of the transmission, and the access covers on the opposite side. So hopefully there's enough room we can get to it. Right here is the bottom 2 bolts. And up here is the top 2 bolts of that cover plate. On this side over here, this little rod right here is the shaft. Let's move this up. So I'm hoping from that plate I can get across to this linkage and figure a way to get in there to get that done. If I can't get into it, I'm going to have to split the transmission right here from the rear end, separate it to get into that linkage. That means I got to drain the hydraulic fluid from the transmission and rear end, remove the floorboards, possibly the fenders, and the 4-wheel drive shaft, and a few things like that to get things prepared. Good day of mechanicking. Well, I can't get to it from there. In order to get to it, I'm going to have to split the transmission from the rear end. This is all open cavity here, and that's the main input shaft. And then right behind it, that wall right there in the casting, right over there is where that shift fork is. So that means no access here. I'm gonna have to split it right here. Bigger teardown than I hoped, but once I get it split right here, it should just be right in the open and easy to get to. So on this side, I'm gonna have to take apart this platform and take off this fender as well. And then we'll have linkages underneath here and hoses to have to disconnect because the split is here. I guess now that we have the answer that that cover plate isn't going to do it, I am going to call it a day for today. Probably do a little cleanup first, and we'll split this sucker. I got it all swept up and cleaned up underneath, and I'm getting ready to split it between the clutch housing and the transmission body. I've also got a couple other leaks I want to address. It looks like I've got a leak starting around my steering orbital motor. And there looks like there may be some oil leak on the engine a little bit, maybe from the valve cover gasket. A couple little spots there where it's accumulated some material, but I can't quite tell exactly where it's coming from. So I think what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull this other fender and floorboard so it's clear and out of the way. Then I'm going to go ahead and take a couple more pieces of tinware off. I'm going to take some of that dash panel around the steering orbital and probably just remove the hood. Then I'm going to roll the tractor back outside out front here and take a minute to go ahead and wash the whole structure of it. With all that stuff out of the way real quickly, I'll be able to get into all the nooks and crannies and make sure everything's clean and fully cleaned off and everything's good. And with it all clean and ready to go and all the tinware removed, then I'll bring it back in. I decided since I'm going to have it down for at least a couple of days trying to get this shift fork resolved, I'm going to inspect a few things while I'm at it. Just check everything over and look it over real good. I need to adjust the brake on the right side. It's a little bit worn compared to the left side. So I need to adjust that and get that brake balance. I do have some filters and stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and service the engine and do all that while I've got it in the shop and down for a little bit. I think the last time I had to split a tractor was probably this tractor when we first bought it and had to put a new engine block in it. I used to split them all the time, but I think that's the last time I split a tractor, and that's been seven years, something like that. So. I washed the tractor off and left it outside to dry, and then we got a little bit of rain in the evenings for a couple of days that made everything a little bit muddy outside. So when I pulled it back into the shop, it tracked more dirt and mud in. Then I also had the incident with the pig that needed my attention, and that took a couple extra days of in and out and farm chores. So a lot more dirt got tracked in, and I had to re-clean the shop space before I could get to splitting this tractor.
Is this supposed to like come apart or what?
Yeah. Can't imagine they put one up and through in the middle inside, would they? Could have, I guess, put one here.
You've never had to split this tractor before?
Not here. We split it here when we did the engine of the clutch.
Oh.
I never had it split back here.
Like
pulling up the parts.
The blueprint of...
Yeah, pulling up the parts breakdown, and it'll show the breakdown, the diagrams of what the parts look like inside.
Oh, okay.
There's a diagram I'll be able to see that will show me...
If you got everything out?
It'll show me the bolts that go into the transmission. Like if I needed to replace a bolt,
oh,
it would show me those bolts, so it'll show me right where they are. So I went ahead and just got online and pulled up the schematic of what the parts breakdown looks like for the transmission. And it shows a stud here on the top in the center. A stud threaded in here with that goes through the housing, and there's a nut inside. So I'm going to have to take this shift cover off to get to the nut that's going to be likely right there behind that inside, and then it'll come apart. Anyone who's done mechanical work, especially on heavy equipment, would likely agree that that seems to be the story every time. You get everything undone and everything unfastened, but then there's just this one more bolt. And to get to that one bolt, you got to take something else apart. And as often the case, that something else also has that one bolt that you just can't get to without taking yet something else apart. And so on and so on. Okay, it's just as I suspected. Get down here, you can see. This is all the linkage that would go to the lever up here for the forward reverse. And all of that moves. And the shaft here moves. When we come inside, you can see that shaft spin and that fork not move. So that pin that's kind of sticking out right there is broken. So we'll pull this part out and double check what's going on in there. Oh yeah, right there. Look at that. That's it. Broken pin will do it every time. So we'll drive that out. I did get some hardened roll pins like this the other day, so I should hopefully have a pin that'll fit, and we'll go back together with it.
So that little pin, you had to do all of that work for that little itsy bitsy little bean?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I think I have a spare. Just take it out.
Yeah. I think I do have a spare. I just need to get the other part of it out, and then
How long did it take you to split the tractor?
probably spend more time washing it with the power washer than I did actually splitting it. I don't know, probably. But oh, you want to?
Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see this mysterious bad egg.
This super big problem, breakdown problem.
Oh, it's embarrassing. Oh, it's horrible. It's kind of like, like, as if like you're eating fudge and you trip and give yourself a black eye.
The problem just got twice as big. There you go.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so it just broke in half? Is that what happened?
Yeah, it just sheared off right there on the shaft.
I thought you'd have a better story. That's all I'm saying. I thought this would be like something major, cost us $500, and you can't get it anywhere except it's made off the shores of tractor land.
Shores of tractor land.
And it's and the shipping is going to be $1,500.
The shipping
and the part's only $5.
The shipping would cost twice as much as the tractor.
Yes. And then, I thought that's the kind of news I was gearing for. But this is embarrassing. This is just foolishness.
So yeah.
That's embarrassing. I can't believe it. So it just kind of cracked in there.
Yep.
It's pretty neat.
Pretty awesome, huh?
I just can't believe this little thing caused so many issues for you.
That's like the story of mechanicing. It's always some little something that failed. It's always the $8 part that failed that caused the $2,000 repair.
How much are those usually?
What?
Those little.
That pin?
Yeah.
Probably 85 cents. I bought an assortment for I think $6, and there's like 180 pins in there. And my assortment should have one of that size. So
Your assortment.
yeah. Oh, 315 pins in my assortment. You know, now I've got lots of spare parts for all the others. I was certain that pin was the broken pin. So
How did you, because was it acting out earlier or something?
no, just when I shifted, it felt like it was a little loose. When it shifted and broke.
When did you buy this?
After I took the tractor up here, before I started.
Oh, I thought you had it for a while.
No.
Like part of your, like your open house to the shop gift.
It kind of was that, but it was also like the tractor broke. I'm like, I'm gonna need some pins because I'm sure that pin is broken.
I want an open house kitchen. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, well, I'm gonna get all sorts of stuff.
Okay, find me the right pin. Since you reassembled it, you know.
I think it's this one. Was I right?
I don't know. I don't have a pin. You have the pin.
Oh, I threw it away in the garbage.
Oh, nice.
Do you need me to go get it?
Oh,
That's it?
that is it.
I can't believe that. And that was the fix?
Fixed.
It's ridiculous. I'm just here to, in case you need.
You know, just how stuff goes sometimes. When it does, all you can do is fix it and move on. Okay, well, we clean that up and then we can slide it back together.
Okay. I'll be right here.
Got a couple of wires that are worn through on both sides of the harness here. So we're gonna fix those while we have access to them. We have a little bit of a leak right in here on the fittings on the steering orbital. So we're gonna fix those. We'll adjust the brake here once we get the floorboards back on for the measurements. And I've got a little bit of a leak on the back side of the valve cover right here. So we're gonna fix that as well while we're going.